Alright, so now we're on to game number 1, and this time it is against Yellow Kid. This is I would say it's close to a 50-50, but it's very skill reliant to make it as close to 50-50. You have ways of being able to deal with them and stop them from just KOing you real fast using like a cost kid. If you don't see him and you don't protect him enough, then yeah, you will just lose. Here they play Gadatsu, they get rid of our Tashigi. It sucks, but there's nothing that we can do about that. We're trying to keep our smoker insulated, but you know, it is what it is. So here, we just take that, and then we're at 6 Dawn. So the big thing that we can do here, which I do decide to do, is just play out this 5-cost smoker, use his effect to get back a Dawn. Now I can play out the sugar, be able to tap down that Shirahoshi and swing into it. This way, I can get rid of the blocker before it's a problem when I'm trying to clear other characters or trying to go for game. And I'm also setting up my sugar too. But you will see he has the perfect answer to that card as well. And yeah, that's one of the big issues with this deck, is that if your opponent can just constantly get rid of one character every turn like black decks usually do, then you don't really have a chance. You're trying to keep yourself at 6 cards or less in hand most of the time, and you're running a lot of 1Ks, so it does make it a little bit more difficult. But it's not impossible. And here, for some reason, they flipped up their life. I guess they thought that they could make any Supernova character have blocker, but it's only, I think, cost 2 or higher that can gain blocker from the kid's effect. So here we're just swinging 7 into the Gadatsu, see if they just give it to me for free. I don't want to swing into their life right now because they're getting ready to go up to their 9 Dawn turn, which means that their main 2 problematic cards have a high chance of being placed on the field, and they're both Supernovas, which is their 8-cost kid and their 7-cost Law. I don't want to give their 8-cost kid free blocker and letting him restand. And here, because we already had Smoker on the field, we're able to play Kid on 8 Dawn, have it be able to play out a Rosinante blocker, and have 1 Dawn attached to it. And just like I predicted, they do play the 8-cost Kid of their own on their turn to burn a life from us. But they're not able to swing into me this turn because we were able to play Kid a turn early than a lot of other green decks would be able to, solely because of the new 5-cost Smoker. Here we draw into a Dofi, and I'm just thinking, how do I want to sequence this turn? Because I could do multiple big swings right now, or I could just try to get the Shirahoshi trashed with the banish, guarantee that they don't get a free blocker there, and then I'm just thinking how best to keep this kid alive next turn. They're going to have at least 3 swings that are going to be good enough that's going to warrant me either using counter or having to throw some of my blockers. So I just play out the Tashigi, and then I'm just going to attach 8 and swing for 16 into that kid, eliminate that free attack from them, and make it to where they have to invest essentially their entire turn if they want to try to remove this kid. But our leader has blocker, and we have the 2-cost Rosinante blocker. So they choose to just do 5 Dawn on this Gadatsu, swing for 11. So we're just going to give them the 2-cost Rosinante blocker, and then they swing for 11 again, and we're just going to take that to the face. That way then we at least get this life card to our hand rather than getting it trashed by one of their effects. So now we're going to have to be real careful with how we block using our leader. But all in all, now we're able to also just start swinging with this Tashigi, making sure that we are burning their life as well without giving them any sort of benefit. So here they give us 2 cards. It's the 0-cost event and another, most likely a brick. Yeah, it was another yellow kid. And I'm just thinking I could play the 10-cost Dofi here. Or what I could do is I could do that, still play another blocker, freeze those cards, untap the 1 Dawn, attach it to the kid, and then I'm just thinking, do I still want to swing 5 here? Yeah, they could get a trigger, but that puts them down to 2 life if they take it. And instead they just give me 1k counter from hand, so that's perfectly fine by me. Here they do have the 7-cost law, but if you look, we have a lot of big bodies. We also have 3k counter in hand with 2 more smokers. So here they're gonna swing 9. We just give them a 2k. Nice, easy. They do have the law up as a blocker, and I kind of have one goal in mind when it comes to this turn. I want to see if I can get them to block early with this law. If I can, then I can just attach a bunch of Dawn and KO the law with a attack with like Dofi, and that would be huge. But at the same time, I can also just keep swinging with this smoker, swing in for these big numbers, and keep burning their life. So like right there, we burned a Satori because they were so afraid of blocking with their law right now. And then here, swing for 5 again. See if they block. Nope, they give us a 1k counter. That's completely fine by me. So now I'm just thinking, another big thing that I could do here is I could just play another Monet, because I'm not going to be able to stun more than 1 character because I only have 1 carrot. Or I could keep the carrot for later and be able to throw down another blocker, which means here I can then swing with 4 Dawn or 3 Dawn. I'm thinking, which number do I prefer? So I swing with only 3 Dawn. That way then if they do block the law, I can attach 1 Dawn to the Dofi and be able to swing for 11. Essentially they would have to give me their entire hand if they wanted to keep the law. So here they just take it, and then we're just going to restand these 2 Dawn, attach them to our Dofi, swing in, get rid of one of the Datsus, and now they only have 3 decent attackers, and we have a total of 2 blockers that can eat those attacks up. So here we give 1 Monet for their nice clean little attack there. We give another Monet because we know that they're not going to be able to do any other attacks this turn. They do get rid of both our blockers, but here, they're down to 2 life, and we still have 3 of our best attackers on the field. They only have 1 blocker. We did just draw into the 3-cost Monet blocker as well. So that is very helpful here, but we're going to start off with a swing of 11 because we don't mind giving them that law right now because it's a 0 counter card. And then I'm just thinking I could then do another swing of 11. They give us the blocker. And then here we can then try to go for a lethal if we want. They have 4 cards in hand. So we're gonna do a swing of 10. See if they get a trigger. They don't. And then I could play out the Monet. And if I do play out the Monet, I at least have 1 blocker, but they're gonna have decent attackers to get over it, and then I pretty much lose. So I have to go for this 8K to try to go for the win and hope that they don't have a good hand. Which does end up happening. They only have 2K in counter, so we were right above what they were able to counter over. And then they had 2 copies of the Flame Spit, so they didn't have any Dawn up because they did play that Ace last turn to be able to try to swing over and get rid of this kid. We did get real lucky there, and that's kind of like what you have to hope in this matchup for it to be like closer to that 50-50 is protect the king. But on to game number 2. All right, game number 2 is against this green-yellow Yamato. And for this game, it comes down to you want to counter out of the leader swings. That is your number 1 priority. You are a 4-life leader yourself. 2 swings, you're at 0 life. So that's the reason why we want to make sure that we get down a blocker, because most of the time Yamatos are just going to swing for 9k on their second turn. But here they're playing this Pedro Minx character. So I'm just thinking, how best do I want to do this? I just counter out real quick. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, I need to get rid of this card because I want to keep my Shanks alive. And here, I don't mind giving up the baby 5 as long as I can get a search with it. That way then I at least get a free card with it. And here I'm swinging for 5, seeing what they're gonna do. They decide to block with the Pedro, and I guess they thought that the second effect just KO'd any 6 cost or less, but it's only KO your opponent's rested or rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn. So they kind of just gave me it for free. So here, they're just going to play down another Pedro, swing for 7 again, but this time I'm going to give them the Monet so I can tap down that Pedro. And that is going to be real big for us, because now what we can do is we can actually attach 2 Dawn, swing 7 into it, and this way we're able to keep up 5 Dawn, so that way then we can do another search with baby 5, use Smoker to restand that in case we find like the 5-cost Doflamingo, and be able to still play it. But they do decide to just rest down one more Dawn, so we only have 4 Dawn left. So here we did find the 5-cost Dofis, and I'm thinking, do I want a 2K or do I want the Doflamingo? I decide on the 2K. because in this matchup, again, you want to stay not getting hit by leader swings. And here, I just restand 1 Dawn, swing 8, try to banish a card off the top of their life. And then I'm just going to play out this Tashigi just to give me a little bit extra protection. And they decide to give me 3 cards to not get their life burned, which, you know, I understand, more power to them, but I don't really think that that was the right call. Here, though, they're only going to be able to do a swing of 6, so they can't get rid of Smoker with that attack, so I just give them a 2k. And then they swing 8 at face. That's completely fine by me as well. I'll take that. We're down to 3 life, but it's better to be down to 3 than be down to 2 if we were to take the leader attack. This turn, though, I'm really thinking about playing this kid. I could play this kid, or I could red rock. But I decide I'm going to play this kid, play out the Rosinante, untap a Dawn, swing 7, be able to search, get another 2k, and then attach this Dawn to the kid to keep him alive. I have 5 cards in hand, so I can swing with the leader still, and he's gonna restand. Now I got 2 blockers for this kid. There's no... He would have to play another Hody in order to get rid of stuff. But here, he's just going to play out a Dofi. And then, because I am at 3 life, he is able to use his leader effect and swing for 10. And I'm just going to take that to the face. Just use blocker effect on leader, take it to the face. I'm down to 2 life, but it's better to keep this kid alive. And here, I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to red rock that Dofi. That way he can't do anything about it. And then I'm also thinking about playing this baby 5 to get a search. But at the same time, I could just keep it in hand as counter, swing 9, see if I can get 3 more cards out of their hand or get them to take their final life. And at this point, they have to clear this kid. They have to clear most of my board, otherwise I can just go for game. Instead, they decide to throw down a kid themselves, and they go with the Rosinante blocker. I do make a misplay on my turn. You'll see it. I thought for a brief second that the Rosinante blocker had to rest itself in order to stop a card from being knocked out. I was wrong. So that's why you see right here, I'm just playing the sugar, resting that Rosinante. I'm going to swing for 12 into their kid, and they're still going to be able to just use this this blocker Rosinante to be able to save it. But that's fine, because here I can swing 10 still. See if I can get some cards out of their hand, which I do. I get 2 cards. And I am completely fine with the way that my board is right now, because I do still have the sugar on the field, which means if they were to play a Hody, I can tap it down. In this case, they play a Bonnie. They do get to freeze something of mine, which they freeze the Smoker, but I'm able to tap down one of their characters, I decide to just tap down the Bonnie. I kind of want them to swing with this kid and this Hody, because if for some reason, well, really the game is pretty much just over, so it doesn't matter. But I was just trying to keep all of my bases safe. Here, they swing 13. And I'm just going to take that one to the face. They're going to swing 10. And I could use the blocker here, but I have the counter in hand, so might as well use it. And at this point, we're going to be able to swing for 12, guarantee that they can't counter out of that. Then we are going to attach 3 to Tashigi, swing 7, make sure that they would have to give us both cards in their hand for that, and then swing for 8 with leader. So that's how you win with this deck against green-yellow Yamato. You need to see this kid. Generally, most games, you need to see this kid. I was thinking and was going to try a Supernova build, but honestly, I don't think that it's worth it. I think the Don Quixote build is just vastly better. But yeah, we will now go on to game number 3. Alright, game number 3 is against Red Yellow Sabo. Here, we have a decent hand. The kid helps a lot in this matchup as well. But the big thing with this matchup is Smoker. They're going to be putting really strong rush characters on top of their life 9 times out of 10. So if you can hit with Smoker and banish those, that's going to come in clutch. Here, on our first attack, they just give us this 2-cost event. I've never seen it played before, but I do see the reason why they're playing it. As a yellow deck, it just gives 4K and then allows you to look at your life and rearrange them. So, pretty cool. And then here, we did play a Monet last turn. Going to be very helpful since most of the time they play a lot of low-end characters that are 4-cost or lower. And then I'm just going to swing in for 5, they take, and then play out the Smoker. That way we can start getting this banish online. Here, they swing for 5, they're playing around the Monet resting effect. And then they play out the Nico Robin, put us down to 2 life already. So we just give them some counter. Right now we're at 7 Dawn, so we can't play out a kid. So I'm just thinking how best to utilize my Dawn. I do kind of want to get rid of that 4-cost, just eliminate one more character off the field. And here I just play out a blocker, and then I'm going to swing 7 into it, see what they give me. They give me 2 cards. They give me a 0-cost event, and what is it? A Nico Robin. And then I'm just going to swing 10 into it. I could have played down the Tashigi, still swung 7 into it, but for some reason they gave me every card in their hand to keep this Kuma alive. I don't know why. I personally would never make that decision. I would have just given up the 1 attacker and played one of the 5 other attackers in my hand, but he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and then he swings 7 into 7, so I just give him counter. And then Now he's going to swing 9 into 7. I'm thinking about blocking. Could just block with face here, and that's what I do. I don't mind taking a life to keep the smoker alive, especially because now they're just going to be swinging 10k with that, so I give them one of my blockers. And now we are at the great number of 9 Dawn, so we can easily play out this kid. And we're going to swing 7 first, get rid of that Kuma, make sure that he can't just come back onto the field. Now we're gonna play out this kid, play out, thinking about Tashigi or Sugar, but we're just gonna play out the Tashigi, freestand 2 Dawn, attach 1 to him, attach 1 to Rosinante, swing for 6, and see what they get off life. They get a Nami, and they get rid of our Tashigi. So it's a good thing that we did choose to play the Tashigi off of the effect, otherwise they probably would have removed our smoker. And here, they're gonna go for 9. And I'm just thinking, how do I wanna block? So I just counter out of it. And then here, they are going to swing for 8. And I'm going to keep this kid alive this turn no matter what. So just thinking, okay, we'll just take it, go down to 0 life. They do that. They swing for 9. I was hoping to get a 2k off the top. Instead, I did get another Rosinante, so it doesn't matter too much. But I do have a Dofi, so I could swing, get rid of this Kid and Killer, or I could just go for face, get a whole bunch of good attacks in, and that's kind of what I prefer to do here. So I'm just thinking, like, I could carrot Rosinante, still swing in for decent numbers, or I could Doflamingo, guarantee 2 less attacks against my kid. It would only be whatever card that they play, and they're going to have to waste 2 more Dawn to attach to the Kid and Killer to put it in life, so that way then they get the 2k on whatever they play. So here, I swing 5, they give us counter, I play out the Dofi, tap 2, or freeze those 2, and then I'm able to restand a Dawn, swing for 9. They do get a trigger, so now they have another attacker. And I was just making sure that the effect didn't say that it could go through effects or anything. And here they are attaching 2, making that a 7k. And giving themselves a life. So I'm thinking most likely I may have to gift up this kid this turn, especially if they just attach all of their Dawn, which is what they do. So I give up the kid, but I know that the top card doesn't have any counter. I know that they're playing a 2-cost event that gives them 9k. So I swing for 9, making sure that I play around that, or it gives them 4k, so they'd become 9k. So swing for 9, play around that. Just because I have the extra Dawn, swing for 11, swing for 12, and at this point, yeah, that's just game.